What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Recently, I examined a solid-state bingo playfield. And if you remember a few episodes back, I talked about the catcher board, or the ball return board, that exists under a Bally bingo and funnels the balls back to the trough. This will be a short episode today, but I wanted to describe a bit about the difference between the solid-state bingo playfields and their catcher board versus the EM bingos and their catcher board. The solid-state games have a plastic ball return board. It's not really a board, it's just a plastic shell that sits directly underneath the playfield. It's screwed to it. Comes out of the game with it. Now, the advantage of this design is that it prevents you from messing up the shutter motor switches, but on these solid-state bingos, everything's a micro switch anyway, so there's very little for you to mess up. There are no switches that ride on the cams, for example. The motor just moves the shutter open and closed. That's it. But this ball catcher has a very narrow opening that pours the balls into the trough. And the problem that it can have is that multiple balls try to go through this narrow opening all at the same time. It doesn't have the advantage of the Bally design, where it has kind of a funnel area. Everything has to crowd through this very small opening in the solid-state bingo ball catcher. So, in my very brief time playing a solid-state bingo, I did see this happen once. It does have to do with the number of balls that you have on the playfield, since those games can have 10 or more balls in a game at a time. And depending on where you land, gravity's going to play a factor in how quickly everything gets to the appropriate spot. So, the big takeaway here is that I still feel like Bally's designs were some of the best and most thought out that I've yet seen. And not that I've seen everything, of course. I only just a few weeks ago saw my first solid-state bingo, so I don't know anything about anything. But I do know that working on these Bally bingos is a treat for the most part. It's fairly straightforward to look at a game and determine what's wrong, and from there to figure out which units are affected. On a solid-state game, you have so much in between the physical switch and the computer, and there's so much that you don't know as a technician that it makes it very difficult to troubleshoot by comparison. So that's my 2 cents, but in other news, Vic Camp today posted some photos of that 10-game bingo lot. Now there's 8 fully working games and 2 projects. One that's just a head and another game that's a project. These games are both highly desirable and very, very attractive. They're in pretty darn good condition from the couple of photos that he's posted. One of the back glasses that I've seen has a bit of flaking, but other than that, these games look like they're in fabulous condition. It looks like the collector who owned them took very good care of them. So I would urge anybody who has any interest in these games to contact Vic Camp and see what they might do. Now, these games are located in New Jersey, but they're all really interesting, good players, good titles, and they'll make any new bingo collector pretty happy for quite some time, especially since they're all fully working. You know, that makes a big difference with your first game. Well, that's all for tonight. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at nbaldridge, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.